So you may ask yourself, with all the capabilities of the hue and saturation effect, why is there a separate black and white effect? Of course, you can use the hue and saturation effect to turn an image into a grayscale image by just setting the saturation of the image to 0, and that gives you a black and white image. The advantage of the separate black and white effect is that it gives you better control over how that conversion to black and white is performed. So let's move up to this image, which is another copy of the same image, and add a black and white to it instead. And at first it looks just the same, and that's because the saturation of the selected color is at 0. But if we would bring up the saturation, you can see that we get a very different result. Right now, the boy's face and the ring behind him here, which is kind of reddish, or orange, I should say, is pretty close to the color that is selected as the dominant color for the black and white conversion. But if we would change that color to something else, you would see that the result that we get in the image is very much different. For example, if we would pick this color, we will get a much more pleasant image, and that's because we're picking a color that is at the other side of the color wheel compared to the dominant color of the background in the image. So we're essentially suppressing the bright orange color here. Maybe we're overdoing it a little bit, so we can still pick that color and just bring the saturation of the selected color down a little bit. So we end up with an image that looks much better than the somewhat flat image that we have over here, and we have much better control over how the conversion to black and white is being done. The last parameter down here allows you to bring back a certain amount of the original color from the image. That can sometimes be a nice effect. Another option, of course, to create this kind of a sepia tone image that you are seeing here is that you add another effect to the image. So let's close this one down, and we would add a small amount of tint to the image. So we just bring up the brightness of this initial color here, which is initially set to be a red color here. We can, of course, go in and change that color as well to maybe something different. Maybe we want like a blue tone to the image, or more of a brownish tone like this. So that also shows you how you can combine two effects, first creating the kind of basic black and white image you want, and then the kind of color that you may want to add to it to get this kind of a sepia tone.